Hello, I want to start by framing our relationship with CMS. In medicine, we often view reimbursement as a tug-of-war, but the reality is CMS has an incredibly difficult mandate. They have to ensure access to high-quality care while sticking to a budget that Congress set back when pagers were still cool. Our goal isn't to fight CMS, it's to be their honest broker. Because frankly, radiation oncology is the poster child for high-value care. Look at hypofractionation. We spent the last decade proving we could treat breast and prostate cancer in half the time. We voluntarily cut our own billable visits from 40 down to 20 or even 5. We basically told Medicare, hey, keep the change. And we did it because it was better for the patient. Less time off work, less toxicity, even though it meant significantly less revenue for our practices. That is the definition of putting the patient first. So today, we are talking about viability. If payment drops below the cost of running the machine, the center closes. And if a center closes, a patient in a rural community drives 2 hours instead of 20 minutes. This is about keeping the doors open. To help CMS get this right, you have to understand their math. It uses a bottoms-up accounting method. Think of an IMRT code like a recipe for a very expensive cake. CMS will ask, what ingredients do you need? 1, clinical labor, the minutes our therapists spend ensuring we don't miss. 2, supplies, everything from thermoplastic masks to the linens. And 3, medical equipment, the cost of the Linear Accelerator in the minutes the beam is on. These are direct costs. It's a logical system. But like any recipe, if you use price inputs from a 1995 cookbook, the cake isn't going to rise. Why does this matter for patients? Because if the recipe doesn't cover the cost of the ingredients, clinics are forced to cut corners or cut services. And we need accurate data so that we can afford the staff and technology that guarantees patient safety. Now, here's the part that usually requires a stiff drink to understand. How does a multi-million-dollar machine become 7.5 RVUs? CMS just doesn't cut a check for the cost. They run it through a normalization machine to ensure budget neutrality. First, they sum the dollars. They take our direct costs and add a scoop of indirect costs, overhead rent, to get a total dollar amount. Let's say it's $200. And the second part of this is the magic trick. Because the Medicare trust funds isn't infinite, they divide that $200 by a scaling factor. Now the math. If the factor is roughly $32, our $200 becomes 6.25 RVUs. Here's the kicker. This means our reimbursement is legally married to every other specialty. If dermatologists start spending more money, the scaling factor shifts and our $200 might suddenly buy us only 6 RVUs next year. We get diluted. Here is the patient impact. When reimbursements swing wildly due to this math, it creates instability. Practices can't plan, they can't upgrade machines, and in worst cases, they consolidate or close, limiting where a patient can go for care. Currently, we are facing a new policy evolution. In 2026, CMS is moving to align our payments with the hospital outpatient or OPPS data. We get the intent, consistency. It's reasonable to ask, why does the same beam of radiation cost different amounts depending on the zip code of the bill? But I want to offer a word of caution. Remember the early 2000s? Freestanding payments were artificially high, and the market responded instantly. Vaults popped up on every corner like Starbucks. It fragmented care, and CMS spent a decade fixing it. We don't want to repeat that mistake in either direction. If we underpay hospitals, safety nets like my institution, MUSC, will close or reduce services. And if we over-incentivize freestanding centers by giving them hospital rates without hospital headaches, we start another gold rush. We are looking for the Goldilocks solution, a stable ecosystem where payment is site neutral but distinct. Why do we want this? For patient access. We don't want a system that forces every patient into a hospital, nor one that fractures care into little profit centers. We want a stable network where a patient can get high-value care in the setting that is most convenient and appropriate for them. Then you've got the GPCI, or Geographic Practice Cost Index. This is how CMS accounts for the fact that a sandwich costs $18 in Manhattan and slightly less here in Charleston. They adjust our payments based on local rent and wages. In South Carolina, my GPCI is usually below 1.0. CMS assumes my rent is cheaper and my staff accepts Southern Charm as partial payment. The system works okay for rent, but here's my gripe. A Linear Accelerator costs $3 million whether you buy it in Charleston, New York, or the Low Country. And here's the patient issue. If we punish practices in low-cost areas by underpaying them for equipment, those practices hold on to older technology longer. A patient in South Carolina deserves the same state of our technology as a patient in New York. Finally, a lesson on why we have to police our own playground. Let's talk about the superficial radiotherapy, or SRT saga. SRT is a great tool for skin cancer, but a few years ago, usage spiked, mostly driven by non-radiation oncologists getting creative with billing codes. They were billing high-end image-guided IGRT for skin cancers you could see with the naked eye. CMS did exactly what they were supposed to do. They saw the leak in the trust fund and they plugged it. They bundled the codes. Was it necessary? Yes. But it also hurts legitimate radiation oncologists too. The moral here, every dollar wasted on low-value, abusive billing is a dollar taken away from high-value patient care. When we allow this to happen, the trust fund shrinks and access for legitimate patients suffers. We must be the guardians of appropriate use so that resources are there for the patients who actually need them. So in summary, practice expense isn't just accounting. It's the financial backbone that keeps our clinics open. Our message to CMS is simple. We are your partners. We have proven our commitment to high value through hypofractionation. We are ready to provide the data you need to get the math right. Because if we get the math right, we keep our doors open, and that means patients get the access they deserve. Stay safe and take care.